Hey guys, this is Wildfire Studios, and I'm going to do my 2016 BreyerFest experience and haul video all in one. I had planned to make an experience video by itself, but after looking through the pictures that I have, I really didn't have very much to talk about as far as the experience goes. So I'm combining that and my haul video together in one. So, first off, BreyerFest was absolutely amazing this year. I had a great time. I got to meet lots of different people from Instagram and YouTube. I didn't end up going to any of the meets, but I met a lot of people walking around, both at the open show, at BreyerFest, in the Clarion, all kinds of things. And that was kind of fun because that was something that I hadn't gotten to do before. So the horse that's on the table right now is the Celebration horse. I ended up with 5 of them. I had 3 tickets for my own, and I traded for 2 more. I'm planning on customizing at least 2 of them, maybe 3 of them. This is the darkest one that I have, and he's got more dapples than any of the others. But first, I kind of want to talk about my experience before I start going into my haul video. So I got there Thursday afternoon because I had a horse in the Best Custom contest, and he had to be dropped off by 4 o'clock on Thursday, and I will show him later in the video. And so I had to drop him off, and I walked around the, I don't know, 6 or 7 rooms that were open. There weren't very many people open in the middle of the afternoon on a Thursday because NANN was still going on. And the first place I went was Copper Fox. And I got 2 horses there that I'll show in a minute. And let's see. Went out to dinner. Then I think that was pretty much it for that night because I had to get up early Friday for the open show. And Friday I spent all day at the open show. I didn't come home with any new ponies from the open show this year, which is totally fine. That's just how it works sometimes. I am happy with how I did overall because just placing at BreyerFest is a major achievement. The best placed horse I had was my dark variation of Jesse. He won the Quarter Horse Geldings and Stallions Special Run class. And then I had 2 other horses that got 2nd place, and everything else was placed lower than that. So how it works if you don't show is only 1st and 2nd place horses can move on to be eligible for championships, and at BreyerFest winning any of the championships wins you a horse. So I focus more on the 1st and 2nd places, especially at that show, just because those are the ones where you are eligible to come home with new horses. And then Friday later I went and did some more Clarion shopping and found some really nice horses that night. Saturday I walked around BreyerFest, I think, until 3. I had 2 special run tickets, one at 11 and one at 2. And I ended up getting all of the special runs that I wanted out of those 2 tickets. I only wanted 4 this year, which is less than normal for me. I usually want to try and get all but 1 of them, but 4 for me this year, and one of them is really not even mine. I had an extra ticket for Sunday, and I used that one to help a friend get her last special run that she wanted because she didn't get it from her tickets. But I had really good draws all of my ticket times. The first 2 times I ended up under the first tent in the first line. And for my last ticket on Sunday, I was very, very first in the 2nd line. So I ended up with some pretty good draws this weekend, which is not like my normal luck where I always end up in the very last everything. So that was nice. I went, Sunday, I went to the pop-up tent store first thing, because I hadn't managed to get there the other days. And there were a couple of things from the pop-up tent that I hadn't been able to find secondhand for a good price. So I picked up the stablemate and the plushie from the pop-up tent. And then, what else? I went and did my special run ticket for my friend. and I entered the raffle. And if you follow me on Instagram, you'll know that I just happened to win the Sunday raffle, which made me extremely excited. And when I show him, I'll tell you the whole story about him and how I won him, and it was a really exciting experience for me. I think that's probably the best experience I've ever had at BreyerFest. That even beats out winning the overall last year at the open show. So, alright, so I'm going to show you all my horses now, since I've pretty much talked about everything I did. Again, this is Emperador de Aguas. He's the celebration horse, and he is branded on his left side, if you haven't seen him out of the box yet. This is the darkest one out of the 5 that I got. He has the most dapples. He has a JM on his shoulder and a 192 on his hip. Let's see if you can see it. But overall, he's a really pretty horse. I'm not quite so fond of his face, but I think the mold itself is very, very pretty. The only thing that I personally don't like is just that his head is so high. I understand his face shape is a little bit awkward too, but that's just how that breed is. So I'm totally fine with his face being a little bit awkward looking. So, it's a celebration horse. And then, like I said, the first place I went on Thursday was Copper Fox, and I'm a huge fan of their cobs. So, I bought a Sovereign. They only had 2 Sovereigns that they brought with them, and I managed to get one of them. Sovereign is really, really pretty. She's got some really nice dappling on there that doesn't show up in the video or in pictures or anything, but it's really nice. It's very subtle. I also have the Bay Cob that I ordered when they first came out. I'm going to order the black one as soon as I can. He's the last one I need out of the normal ones, and then we get into the really hard to find ones, like Birdie. Birdie's almost impossible to find in the US. And the other one is the gray, and there's only 10 made of the gray version, so I'm not sure I'll ever find him, but that's okay. But Sovereign is really nice. The detail and the quality on these horses is absolutely amazing. I've been stunned by every single one I've seen. The hooves are my favorite thing about the Copper Fox horses. They have a lot of detail in their hooves. And their eyes are also very detailed as well. And then also, while I was at Copper Fox, I bought a blank cob, which actually, if you look at them up close, it's a cob that they already painted that they just primed over. Because you can tell, or I don't know if you can see it in the video or not, but they actually have socks and hooves painted on here that you can see. I haven't figured out what color I'm going to make him yet, but if you have suggestions for him, feel free to comment down below. It'll be a while before I actually get around to painting him. And that, I think, was pretty much it that I bought on Thursday. I didn't buy very much. Oh, I also went to the Stone Room at the Fairfield, and I bought 4 horses. They were having a sale for buy 2, get 1 free, and I ended up with 4, and I was about to go put the 4th one back, but Randy made me a really great deal on my 4th one, so I ended up coming home with 4. And the first ones I got Gretel, which is a little Palomino Appaloosa Pebbles Arabian, and she's pretty cute. I really like the shading on her spots. That was kind of why I picked her out. And then I also got Hansel, which is another Appaloosa on the Pebbles Arabian mare mold. This one is in Bay, and I kind of got them because they go together very well. But Hansel also has a lot of details that Gretel doesn't have. And then, for my 3 that I got with the sale, I got this Ish. I don't know his name because he's one of a kind, and to be honest, I didn't really pay attention to the tags other than the price. But he's really cool in person. It's hard to see in the video. But he's a red roan, and he has reversed apples all across his back and his barrel. And he's got a diamond weave mane and an etched face marking and leg markings. So he's got a lot of extra detail in there that you don't see with any of their other models. He also has striped front hooves. And the fourth one I got is over here. Fourth one I got was this pony. He's also one of a kind, and I have a thing for ponies. I have a massive stone pony conga that's running about 40 to 45 right now. I haven't counted it recently. But I really liked him because of his shading. He's got really excellent shading all over. But he was marked for 300, and by the time I got the stone bucks from the other horses and spun the wheel, which gives you extra discounts and stuff, he's an almost $300 horse that I got for less than $100. So he was really good deal on that one. And then that was pretty much it for Thursday. Friday I had a friend who picked me up Diablo DC. He is one of the darkest ones that I think I've seen so far, which I really appreciate her picking him up for me. But he's really nice. He's a really nice horse. They had a lot of him left on Sunday, from what I could tell, but I think I went through the Sunday Briar Store line at about 11:30, and they had all of the store specials left, and all of the Christmas horses, and all of the, normal run stuff they still had left. Which was kind of surprising because I know there are a lot of years where they sell out of all of the store specials. But I do think it was really good this year. They tried really hard not to stick them all out at once, which is something that I can't say they've done before. Because I know in 2015, especially in the pop-up tent, they stuck them all out on the first day, and then if you were somebody like me where you're at a show, you don't get any of them. So, Friday night, I also got the 2015 volunteer model, Parfait, and he was one that I had actually looked at the year before, but had decided not to get him because prices were so high and I didn't like him enough to pay $500 for him. So him I negotiated and got him down to about $300, which is a pretty good deal for him. Most of them were at around $400 to $450 that I found. A few at $350, and he was actually marked at $350, but didn't have to pay quite that much for him. But he's really pretty. I got him from my Smart Chick conga, which is actually a lot bigger than I thought it was. They take up a whole shelf, a small shelf by themselves now. So I don't know where I'm going to put him because I have about 3 that don't fit on that shelf. I need to move them. I rearrange them and give them their own shelves. And another really cool one I got. That is 4 Stars. He was a limited model from Sweet Home Chicago. They made 122 of him, I believe. I got a pretty decent deal on him too, because he's one where a lot of people wanted $400, $500 for him. I got him for $350. And he's one where I'm not sure I really plan to show him because his color's kind of odd. From right here, it looks like his color looks green on my camera, but he's actually a really dark mulberry gray. And he's got lots of dapples, and he's really shiny, so he looks really cool. But he was one that was definitely on my wish list. He wasn't real close to the top, but he was one that I was looking for. Let's see. I also got the cheapest model I think I bought the whole time I was at BriarFest, is this Rose Gray Pan. I think I spent $15 on her, but I want to start a conga of the pan mold. The only one I have besides her right now is the Alabaster. But she's kind of interesting just because she looks like she should be white and she like faded or turned yellow, but she really is just supposed to be that color. She's kind of I would call her a cream color almost. But she's ooh, pretty. Kick the tripod. Oops. And also got the plushie from the pop-up tent when I went on Sunday. And she's actually really cute. She's one of my favorite plushies that they've done for BreyerFest. And she has a BreyerFest pin on her ear right now. Just because I haven't found a place to put it. And my grandma collects decorators. So I picked up the green translucent decorator. I'm not even going to try to say his name because I know I will pronounce it incorrectly if I try. I actually didn't get him at the pop-up tent. I bought him in one of the rooms because I didn't think I would be able to get him. But I really didn't pay a whole lot more than what he originally cost. But out of all the decorators, I like the translucents the best. So I think he's pretty cool. And then, one of the only things I bought from the Breyer store this year, besides some pony pouches and t-shirts, I bought a bank spinella from my Croy conga. And if you hear me saying conga a lot, I conga lots of things. Croy happens to be one of them. I have a Destato conga, I have a Smart Chick conga, a Latigo conga. Gem Twist is my biggest conga, next to Stone Ponies. But yeah, Wyatt's, I conga Wyatt's too. I conga lots of things. But I'm not overly impressed with this model. He's just white for the most part, with a little bit of shading, and he's got a brand on his hip too. But he's really pretty, and I got him for a better deal there than I did anywhere else, because I'd shopped around for him quite a bit. And speaking of Gem Twist conga, I found one that I did not have yet, and that is a naked Gem Twist. He has no paint, has never been painted, he's not stripped. He's just came from the factory like that. He's bare plastic, which is kind of cool, so I'm going to add him to the conga. I think I've got about 20, I think he'll be 23 or 24 in that conga now, because I've got lots of variations of stuff and factory goofs and all kinds of stuff. No one of a kind, but lots of other weird things that have happened to Gem Twists along the way. So I think I will do Stablemate, which is Copacabana. He was one that I actually wasn't that impressed with when I saw the pictures of him. He looked like a mini version of the Pegasus to me. He looked brown in the picture. But he's actually kind of pretty. He's a really dark purple color with bright orange legs and purple shading and orange and white mane and tail. So he's a lot prettier than I thought he would be, even though I'm still not really a decorator type of a collector. So I think I'm going to do special runs next. So I will start off with Mamacita and Chico. They were third on my list, so they were on my second ticket. And Chico I'm not overly impressed with. He just looks like another baby to me. But the mom is really, really pretty. She was the reason I bought the set. I'm planning on keeping the baby, and I'll probably end up showing him too. But I'm just not as impressed with his color. But the mom, she's a really dark bay, and she's got lots and lots of dapples, which I think is really nice. But they're a really cute set. Okay. So my number one special run going into BreyerFest that I wanted to get was Bozeman. And I really wanted him for my Wyatt conga, and because his color is really nice. He's kind of like a blue roan pinto, but he really only has roan on like his flank and his shoulders. It doesn't go up his neck at all, which Feels kind of weird, but it works. But yeah, he's really nice. He's got blue eyes, which is something that Briar doesn't do very often. The one thing I did have problems with him, though, is that I bought him and then I left him in the car for a little while. And normally I don't have problems with stuff, but they had wrapped the base in this really thin plastic, and it took off a little bit of the paint off of his base. The horse itself was fine, but it took some of the paint off of the base. But it's barely noticeable. You have to get real close to see it. And I know there were a lot of people that had that trouble with the Pegasus as well. So, this is the Pegasus. He was 4th on my list to get. We got him from my grandma. And he actually is really cool in person. Like I said, I'm still not a decorative person, but he's really cool. He's got a lot of detailing on him. He's one where they didn't make very many of them, so he was really hard to get because they only put out somewhere around 30 per time slot. And I was a lot closer with my second time ticket at 2 on Saturday. So I ended up getting him no problem. But I know that a lot of people had a lot of trouble trying to get him, just because they put out so few each time slot. And then Namid is the one I was most excited to come home with. After I got there, I realized, after I dropped off my Best Custom horse and looked at the horses they had sitting out, that Namid came in both glossy and matte. And the run seems to be about a 50-50 split. Briar hasn't announced the numbers yet. But after I saw him in glossy, I realized that I really, really wanted to come home with the glossy. So, I went through the special run line, got him on my first ticket with Bozeman, and after I paid for him and got out of the line, I opened him up, and I had to open him up all the way because I couldn't tell through the plastic whether he was shiny or not. And it turned out that I had gotten the glossy one, so I was pretty excited because the glossy version was the one that I really wanted. And I know glossy versus matte, it just kind of depends on the person and the horse. But I think black horses look really, really awesome in gloss. So I was really super excited to come home with him and to come home with the glossy one. And I think I only have, no, I have 2 more purchases left to show you. I got a Latigo. He was second on my wish list to get, and I managed to find one. There were only 2 for sale that I ever saw. One of them was gone by the time I got to the Clarion Room to try to find it. And this one I found at Briarfest at one of the booths. Paid a pretty decent amount for him, considering, you know, how much his original cost was. She wanted $250 for him, which actually isn't that bad, and I ended up paying $225. But he's really, really nice. The only thing I noticed on him at all was that he has one spot where his mapping is kind of sticky, I guess, on his back. But he's really, really nice. All of the other, I mean, the mapping is lined up nice. Everything else about him is really nice looking. So that finishes off the Latigo Conga for now. All of the regular runs and special runs and stuff like that. Nothing incredibly rare. But I don't always count the incredibly rare ones anyway. Because, honestly, finding some of those is almost impossible. Right, and then I have to go get one because I missed one. Alright, before I show you the last 2, because they're my favorites, I'll show you my Best Customs horse. Just real quick. This was the horse that I entered in the Best Custom contest, and he was selected as a finalist. He's a bay near leopard Appaloosa on the wide mold. He has lots of individual herring on his shoulder. I think if I entered that division again next year, I'd probably do more of the individual herring on whatever horse I decide I want to enter. Just because that seems to do well. The horse that won was a Dark Bay Sabino on the Lonesome Glory mold, painted by Billy Campbell, and I met her and talked to her, and she was very nice. And I'll post a picture of all of the finalists. But as for being a finalist, you get a big giant ribbon that says 2016 Customs Finalist on it. And if you win, which he did not, you win the Best Custom Contest prize model, which this year was a Bay Pinto Geronimo. And you win another big ribbon if you win. But I was really, really excited just for him to make top 6. And I didn't expect him to win at all. But just making top 6 was a huge achievement because I was told that they had over 500 entries just for his category alone. So the priciest model that I bought this time was the 2016 Volunteer model. And he's another one where I'm not going to try to say his name because I will mispronounce it no matter what I do. But he is a dappled gray on the Carrick mold, which is another mold that I conga. Right now I'm only really missing one that I consider to be attainable, and that's the Glossy Cortez C. So as soon as I have money again, he will be on my wish list. Because I am totally broke from buying this horse. He took up all the rest of the BreyerFest money that I had left, except $24. But I spent quite a bit on him, and I think, pretty sure that I overpaid for him a little bit too, but I'm totally okay with that because other than him, he was really the only thing I wanted that I was looking for at BreyerFest. So I'm totally okay with that because I really wanted to come home with him. And everything else I wanted I couldn't find, so it was totally alright. But video will not do him justice because he has dapples all over, and they're really pretty and they're shaded very nicely. And probably the most exciting horse that I came home with is Aria, the Sunday raffle model. Like I said, after I bought the Volunteer model, I had $24, and I spent $20 of that $24 on Sunday raffle tickets just because I was going to be there anyway. I was in the middle of going through the special run line with my best friend to get her the special run that she could not get. And then I heard them call my name, and we were jumping up and down in the middle of the special run line and screaming, and I'm pretty sure the guy behind us in line thought we were insane. Just because we had just picked up the horse she wanted. But he is really, really stunning in person, and I'm going to keep him as a show horse. He's a dappled Palomino Sabino, and he's got a pearly finish on his mane and tail that you don't see in any of the pictures. And he's limited to 26, 25 for the raffle, and 1 for the auction. So that is the end of my experience and haul video. So give me a like if you enjoyed it, and if you have suggestions for future videos, feel free to comment them below, and I will see you again soon. So thank you for watching.